how's everybody doing today? SolarLoon here, and I am doing a Godot game dev stream for just a little while. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? You know, how's everything going? Apologies for eating on stream, but I'm hungry. Okay, feeling pretty good. So in case you aren't aware of what this is a little, actually, let me take this out. This is, okay, well, let me start over. Hi, I'm SolarLoon, and I'm an independent game developer, basically just hobbyist at this point. That's what I was doing, I think. I was doing something with this. I'll come back to this. I'll leave this in, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm doing. But basically, I make video games sometimes, and art and music and stuff. And speaking of music, let me get some music going in here. Okay. So yeah, I make art and music and games and stuff. Actually, let me make sure this isn't too loud. And so, yeah, I make art and music and games, and this is a game that I'm working on, just kind of like a top-down adventure RPG template. I have message boxes, I have interaction, things you can interact with, events that take place, the ability to lock the player in place, essentially. You know, naturally when you interact with something. Yeah, so it's pretty good. I have portraits, like dialogue portraits, as you can see, and it's just kind of a test little game that's just kind of like the beginning of an RPG or adventure game. You know, kind of like teleporting events or NPCs around, testing out like inventory stuff. That's what I was doing. I don't currently have a way to like move the message window to the bottom of the screen if the player is at the top. So that's what I was working on. And that's what I'm gonna do today. Off screen, I got the ability to teleport between scenes like so. So you can, this pod just represents an exit. So you can walk into it and teleport to another location and back. So that works, that all works really well. The kind of weird thing about it though is it's dependent on the direction you enter from. So as you can see, I mean that makes sense and it works, except for a situation like this where you come at this exit from below. Now you're stuck in the wall. So I have to either figure out. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. I have to fix that, I guess. That would be the wisest thing. Is actually fix it. Also, this music is not arranged very well. Let me take a quick moment to do something with it. Real quick. So it's actually like quasi-listenable. I mean, just like a tad. Okay, that should do it. Cool. Miblik asks, says, looks nice, thank you. And he asks, how do you store the dialogue? The dialogue is currently the entire, like all events are scenes, like nodes, and they exist in a child of an event field. So an event field basically executes all events in its children list in sequence. So the text is stored directly in the event, like so. There's a pot sitting in the middle of the room. It seems a bit lonely now that you think about it. Little stuff like that. Ideally, like if you were doing this as kind of like a full localized game, you would probably load the text from an external file, and then just like kind of push in the text from that external file depending on the language that the player specifies and that you support, I believe. So like, you shouldn't put this text in here like this. You should have this text in a, like a game underscore en dot CSV or something, and that contains all the text for all the game in English. And then you'd have other files for like, you know, German and Spanish and Japanese and all that stuff. That's how I do it currently, but it's not the ideal when it comes to localization, I believe. But it's no big deal for now. I'm just kind of like working on this for now. Okay, so that works. Now what we're gonna do, we have, let's see how we want to do this. Hold on. If you transport, it should trigger on touch, but how that determines if you touched it or not, I think should be dependent on the previous frame. So like if I teleport from another room into this exit, you shouldn't be able, it shouldn't trigger again, essentially. I think that would be probably best. I mean, the alternative would be to just make it so that the player doesn't move so far out of the exit to place him into a wall. But I mean, you know, in this kind of a situation where it's basically dead center, there's not very much room there. So either I make it so that, like, when you touch, in order for a touch to trigger, it has to have at least one frame prior, or not. I have to figure out exactly how I want to approach this. Hold on. I guess this is fine, because sometimes you would want a event to trigger right when the player touches it, right when he enters a room. Well, no. No. Excuse me. It probably would be better to like kind of tell the player where to kind of appear on the other end of the exit. That's probably the best approach. So we can do something like this where the scene change event that triggers a scene change is positioned to the right, so that it always places him to the right rather than placing him into the direction that he's heading. So this is kind of like I'm just talking more or less right now. So I'll try to explain it a little bit more as I go along. So this is the scene change event, which basically on touch for scene change, the default is it triggers on, or I'm sorry, like basically an exit is just an NPC that has a scene change event, and the NPC triggers on touch. So that's it when it comes to an exit. And then the scene change event itself specifies what scene to load, and also what exit to appear at. And then there's another one in the other scene that corresponds to the other exit, that would correspond to the other exit. So we'll just do something simpler like this, where it tells it to appear to the left of the other exit, and this tells it to appear to the right of the other exit. So we'll go back into the script and say we don't want it to move. Well, we'll do like this. We don't want it to actually move the player depending on his facing. That's what we are doing now. And like it works fine when you walk directly into the, what in the world? It works fine when you walk directly into the, yeah, it's all over the place because I moved them. But basically, it works fine when you walk directly into it. But when you walk from another angle, like if you come from this angle, you'll appear up here, or you know, otherwise, depending on your facing, which is not really what we want. So what we want to do is position the player according to the exits, the target exits position, but also, well, actually, just the target exits position might be enough. Let's see. No. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Either I could do it for real, or I could do it I'll do it for real, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll just do it like that. I'll just have it so that the exit is out a little further, and we'll see how that works out. Nope, it did not work. I think it's because it needs to be according to the exit's, like this object's position. So it should be the exit's position plus this position. This, like the opposite exit's position plus, yeah, okay. Cool. So that actually might be a little far now. Let's try this real quick. Just change it around so that it's actually correct. Yeah, no, okay, never mind. So it does need to be out like that. Cool, that's fine. So what I'm doing here, now that I have it working, I'll kind of explain. So the idea behind this is the classic tried and true exit from one scene into another scene. To trigger this is a scene change event, which is just, you know, it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this explanation what an event is. It's just something that gets triggered and has an effect. I guess that's actually the explanation. That's it. It's just something that gets triggered, has an interact function, and gets triggered, and then goes to another scene. So we get rid of the old scene here. We load in the new scene, the target scene, and add it to the scene tree so that it's, you know, it's being instanced. And we find the player in the new scene, and if we find the player, we'll move him. That's the goal. Is basically to move him to the opposite end of the exit, the tunnel. So we say, okay, loop through all the exits in the scene. Then if you find one that corresponds to this exit ID and it's in the new scene, go ahead and move the player to that position plus the position of this exit. So what we're saying is move the player to the other exit in another scene that has the same exit ID, but then also move him over. So when we touch this exit, we'll move him over like 20 pixels. So he moves here plus 20 pixels over here. So that's the exit. And then when he comes here, he moves to this exit, but 20 pixels in this direction. So if I wanted to, for example, move the player when he touches this exit to here, up here, I would just move this up there. It's hard to see, but basically this exit corresponds to this exit because they have the same ID, and then the actual scene change position is up by 20 pixels. There we go. Very straightforward, very simple. Not bad at all. Aaron Chappelle says, what do you think of the Godot 3 release so far? I've been using... I just took a big bite while I was trying to explain. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I was using the some daily builds of Godot 3, so it's not really that big of a jump. Like if you were using like Godot 2.1.4 or whatever, and then you jump to Godot 3, it's a huge difference. But I was already using Godot 3 like a couple of weeks ago, so it's not a huge difference. They fixed some stuff, and that's about it. I like Godot 3. It's solid. Seems pretty solid. I feel like the whole like node system is like a huge strength, but it's also kind of a weakness because you don't really get some delineation that I feel like it would be nice to have. Like there's no such thing as a level, there's no such thing as a scene, there's no such thing as, like in reality, a scene is just a collection of nodes. Like for example, and this is kind of weird, like you can say get tree dot current scene, right? That's a thing. Current scene is a thing. It's an existing thing. But if you change the scene, like what I'm doing here, which is getting rid of the old scene and adding in a new scene, this pointer no longer points to anything because there's no such thing as a scene in Godot. It's just a collection of nodes. So I'm not sure if it's just making any change to the scene tree, or if it's just because I'm nuking basically the base of the scene tree because this is a scene and I'm trying to replace this entire scene with this entire scene. So it's just like, oh man, what do I do? So it's like, I think that the node system is like well designed and it's cool, but I also think it kind of gets in your way. in a certain sense because it's not as clean as it could be. I feel like I'm not sure. I'm not, you know. It just that's the way it kind of feels. Like if they had levels, if they had scenes, it would be less what's the word? Versatile, but it would be easier to understand and easier to document and easier to use, kind of. That's just like my kind of first impression, or not first impression, but just what I kind of think. Because I've been using Godot for a while. Okay. So yeah, it's a little kind of clunky in certain respects, but I think the core ideas are really solid. And I haven't been using it for that long. I've only been using it for a couple of months, maybe a month. Colin JC says the art looks very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very basic, but I kind of wanted really basic art, really basic style, really basic graphics. Kind of like if I don't know if anyone remembers, I mentioned this before, but like Megazooks or ZZT, like just really basic, like 2 or 3 color characters, like just a step above like 2 color characters, kind of. This is, I guess, 4 color, transparent, outline, you know, whatever color and whatever color. So I'm doing a, you know, basically I'm kind of doing NES level graphics, I guess you could say, but yeah, not bad. The pots are 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one more. I probably could just replace just make do with one less color there, in order to have it be a little more authentic. But that's not bad. Cool. Eric Hastings says, I've definitely had some issues with node references so far. I just wish there was like a better way to do references other than by name. I mean, I think I see what you mean. You can do references however you want. You're talking about node references, because a node is just an odd, like a memory location. You should be able to store it however you kind of want to reference it better. So like, it's true that you have to look kind of by name, but you can put things in groups and look at them that way. You know, you can have, like, my example, I have a group of an exit group. All the exits are put in a group, so I can just look through exits by their group, which works fine. Or you can, for example, store every node by its position and then look at its position to get the corresponding node, like use a dictionary. So you can kind of approach things as you wish, just because it's a reference-based, you know, system. So you can kind of invent your own method of referencing certain nodes as you kind of wish and need. I'm not sure what you mean by like a better way to do references other than by name. Like, what do you mean? Colin JC says, are you using JavaScript for the code? No, it's GDScript. Eric Hastings has it correct. So yeah, the current thing I'm working on, or the current thing I need to do, is have the dialog box disappear when you're up here, because otherwise, you know, you would be hidden behind the dialog box. So it needs to move down essentially to the bottom half of the screen when you're on the top half of the screen, and vice versa. Aaron Chappelle says, have you tried the C# implementation rather than GDScript? No, I have not. I know that the C# implementation would be probably way closer to the kind of languages I'm used to, and I would prefer it, I think. But I like autocomplete. It's not too much of a pain. I think I would well, I'm not sure if I would prefer C# or Java or Kotlin or something like that. I have to see. I'm not sure if anyone's planning to work on like Kotlin support or Java support, just because I'm more familiar with Java than I am with C#. I have never used C#. I'm not really. Okay. So this is going okay. So what I need to do is figure out where the player is on screen. And that's what I'm trying to work on right now. Or what I need to work on right now. So we'll do something like this. Let's get the camera. And let's figure out where the player position is on screen, if we can. Oh, that's why I'm missing get node root. I mean, that's kind of something else I don't quite like. Get node and find node. I guess I'm just not used to the API. I'm not gonna blame that on anybody. That's just me not being familiar. Okay, so here's the execution. This is what we're looking for. Cool. So this tells us where the player is on screen, and hopefully, if the camera scrolls, what are we looking for? We're looking for, is it offset? Okay, I'm not sure if we're looking for offset or just moving. Huh? That's weird. Why is offset? What is this offset? Okay, well. Smoothing? There's probably more to this camera implementation than simply giving you something to kind of look at. So there's probably stuff to this. Drag center. Oh wait. Anchor mode. The camera's 2D anchor points. If true, the camera only moves when reaching the horizontal drag margins. If false, the camera moves horizontally regardless of margins. Drag margins. Okay, so I'm not 100% on what this is, but I'm guessing it basically is like you can do something to tell it like, oh, this is what you should be focusing on, and it'll kind of like keep the whatever the target is within this area. Is that what it's supposed to be doing? I'm not sure. Draw limits. Draw drag margin. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, drag margin. Okay, let's go ahead and try it out. If we know it's a camera, offset, anchor mode, rotating current, drag margin, align, clear current. So there's probably something. Zoom, custom viewport, limit left, limit top, limits, drag margin, smoothing speed, the horizontal and vertical offsets relative to the drag margins. A value of 1 makes the camera move only when reaching the edge of the screen. What does that mean? Align the camera to the track node. Well, how do I set the track node? Alright. Node. It forces the screen current layer to scroll following this node. Oh. This makes it easier and faster to program scrollable scenes than manually changing the position of canvas item-based nodes. This node is intended to be a simple helper to get things going quickly, and may happen often that more functionality is needed, desired to change how the camera works. Okay. Alright, so I think what this is saying, like, I can put the camera in the player and go from there. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. That might be what they're saying. Let's get rid of the camera there. Let's go over here, get rid of the camera here. Jump into the player and give him a camera. Okay. Alright, let's try it. Nope, but it's probably because I didn't make the camera current. Let's try that. Save. F5. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Cool. Alright, that's very easy. I like that. Everybody likes that. It's very simple. Let's see. Saiful Isam says, I just got to know about Godot. I wish I knew about Godot earlier, but better late than never, I guess. Is this Godot? Yes, it is. And yeah, Godot's pretty cool. Lucretius, what's up, Solar? It's pretty late this time around. No? Hey, how's it going? Yes, I'm later than usual. So I probably won't be going for very long, but just wanted to get a stream in nonetheless. Just kind of got home from work a couple hours ago. Well, a few hours ago now. And just did some stuff and wanted to hop on, stream a little bit. So last time we left off, for those who are just joining the stream, we have a kind of an RPG base, but now we have a surprisingly kind of fast-moving RPG base. I added exits so you can touch things and it'll teleport you, like so, which is cool. And then I just added a camera to the player and it automatically tracks them, which is really cool. We probably don't need smoothing, but let's try that out. I think I know what it's going to look like, and usually I'm all for it, but I don't know if I really need smoothing. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Like I don't really need smoothing. It's kind of a very simple RPG. If this was more fast-paced, maybe, but I'm not really like I don't really need smoothing. Cool. Nonetheless, it's a nice little feature though. I usually do smoothing. I just do it myself. All right, now one thing I wanted to check. What we want to do is basically get the screen position of the player, or just get the screen position of a 2D node, and use that because we need to know if the player is like halfway up the screen or not, so that we can move the message box around. Now, this is actually something that I think Godot really could use. It's kind of strange to not have this feature built in to like translate a 2D point or 3D point. You can translate into 2D space. They do have that on a camera, a 3D camera, but not for a 2D camera, which is strange because it's not that much code, and it's something that pretty much any mildly advanced game is going to use. So anything that has GUI would probably use it, where the player can like move behind GUI or move around on screen, and you want to update the GUI depending on the player's position. That's what I think anyway. I feel like this is kind of like RPG adventure game kind of 101. Not working. Is it because I'm probably looking at the wrong thing? It's not position, but offset. Not working. Is it because it's using plus or minus? Not working. What am I looking? What am I doing wrong? Let's see. Is it the offset, or is it the transform doesn't change? So what's the actual? Is it the offset? Let me print camera.offset real quick. Is it not? It's not. Okay, that's not doing anything. What's the actual thing that makes it move? If it's not offset, is it offset V and H? That's confusing. Let's see. The camera's offset, useful for looking around or camera shake animations. It forces the screen current layer to scroll following this node. So, oh, get camera position. Okay. All right. I get. All right. It's. Okay. I'm like trying to understand why they did this, and I'm kind of like getting it. Let's see. Okay, so the camera now changes correctly. All right. So I guess I should do like position minus camera.get position, and that should kind of, yeah. Okay, cool. That does work. All right, cool. So 18. Now what we need to do, we want to limit where the camera can travel. So there is a limit in here, built in here. Or is it? Here it is. But I mean, I don't know what the limit is. Each scene can have its own limit. So the easiest way to do this would probably be to get the size of the... Which one? The BG. Maybe we could use BG as just kind of a basic, kind of indication of how big the scene is. That seems reasonable, right? Kind of makes sense. I feel like that kind of makes sense, right? Because like that represents the bounds of the scene. You wouldn't want to go beyond that, would you? So it would try to use BG. That makes I'm thinking, I feel like that's a pretty good solution. If I need to do something else, I can do something else. So that's fine for now. Let's go ahead and do it like that. So we'll say func ready on ready. We say get node, or I guess I can just do it like this. Camera 2D dot limit left. Okay, so it is, yeah, left equal, let's see, var bg equals get node root, or I guess it would be dot dot slash. We'll see. I don't know where the, I guess it would be like get node slash root slash game slash, well, I don't know for sure that the root node will be called game. It should be, maybe it will be, maybe it won't. So we'll just do it like this. Dot get child 0 dot, actually, let's print this out. bg.get name. I'm not sure if this is correct or not. GY. Okay, we want the second child then. Game. Okay, that's correct. So then we want to get its child, or I guess get node bg. Let's see. Does that work? Should work. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So the BG represents obviously the shape of the limits. So we want to get its transform. There's no way to get kind of like its general shape. It doesn't look like it. No 2D has transform. So I can just assume, well, I guess I could get region multiplied by the transform. I feel like there's probably a way to like just get a general like size. Sprite 2D, sprite. Region rect. I guess not. Okay, well, I guess region rect we'll have to do then. Frame, frames, flip, flip, offset, centered, normal map texture. Okay. All right, well, we'll just go with region, I guess. Ovisior says, "Hey Solar, I think I'm going to start streaming development of my game in the future. Is it cool if I use your music in my stream sometimes? My Twitter handle is so forth. If you want to check it out, yeah, sure. If you do buy like any of my music, you can use it to stream. And like any of the, especially the Gearin soundtrack, there's a thing at the bottom of the Gearin Bandcamp page. As for the other stuff, if I haven't released it, no, you may not. Like if I haven't, if it's like the music that I'm talking over right now that I haven't actually put out there, or music on SoundCloud that I have not made available for download, yeah, so like the Gearin OST specifically is cool to use just because I've released it with that in mind. Like, I want people to listen to it and use it for their stuff and spread it around, you know, have fun with it, but still buy it, of course. But like the other stuff that hasn't been released or hasn't been released for streaming, no, please don't. Thank you. So basically, if you go to a music page, like one of my music pages, or you know, SoundCloud or whatever, and you can download it or buy it, and it has like specifically says, yes, please use it for streaming, feel free to use it for streaming. The Gear and OST specifically is the only one that I've put out there as that. Okay, so we're probably, oh man, we're probably going to go with the region to determine, well, the region combined with the transform to determine the overall size. The overall size of the BG, which is basically how big the world is. I guess I could use like a world maybe, or I could do it different ways, but I'll just use BG just because it's always there. There's always going to be some BG, either background, like just a solid color, or a texture or something. So we'll do it like that. So region rect, we're going to assume that the region is going to be enabled basically all the time. So we say BG size, I guess we'll say. We'll use a list for this. BG.region rect. Is it a vector? Yes. Oh no, it's a rect too. So it's got a position and a size. Okay. Doesn't really make much sense. Oh no, I guess we want to use the size then. Oh, we could use a rect for this. That's okay, I guess. We don't really need a, yeah. So, x region rect.size.y. Okay. So what we're gonna do here then is we want it to be the position bg.position.x minus. Well, I guess we need to, let's get the size first, I guess. Let's get the size first. So var bg size equals this. So the size is the rect size multiplied by the scale, bg.scale.x. Joseph Catrombone says, yo, getting in late, happy Friday. Glad I made it in time for the stream. Yo, how's it going? Okay, so that should be the general size. The scale multiplied by the region rectangle size should basically equate to what we're looking at, which is 32 times 10 and 18 times 10, I believe, yeah. To end up with the overall size of the game world screen. Then we want to add to that the position. So the position plus. So then the overall output should be basically bg.position.x minus bg.region or bg size 0 divided by 2. Okay, so this is basically it. We don't have to need to do that. We'll just do it like this. We'll just divide it by 2 because we already know we're dealing with half sizes, you know, because we're counting from the position, which is the half point of the, like, let me show it. Let me show what I'm looking at. So basically the BG, as you can see here, let me hide the player's camera. It doesn't need to be seen. Right now, like this is the BG, right? We'll move it over here. This is the BG in its entirety. So we want to count basically from this point out like this. Half of its width and height, half of its width and height, half and half. Cool. So let's go back and actually turn this back on because we don't need it to not be there. So we say, okay, BG size equals BG position.x minus BG size. BG.position.y plus BG size. BG.position.x plus BG size. And BG.position.y plus BG size. So the limit left is, well, I guess I don't even have to assign it at this point. I have it here. So this is the limit left. This is the limit right. This is the limit top. Limit top and limit bottom. Okay. So limit right is the position plus the size. Limit top is the position. Yeah, something like that. I don't need this anymore. Cool. Nope. Didn't like that. BG size 0. 1. Alright, so now, yeah, we're locked. Cool. Alright, now, here's another problem. I'm just saying get camera position is not factoring in the limits, which is very strange. I kind of figured that it would, but for some reason it's not. So let's print something out real quick. Camera.get camera screen center, I guess. Is that going to be the... Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I can use this, because that should basically be it. So we'll just go with this. Position minus camera.get positions, get camera screen center. So now, yeah, so boom, we're on the lower half of the screen, we're on the upper half of the screen. Okay, that's fine. That actually works fine. So we'll say cam pose equals position minus camera. I'll just copy this. Alright, so then we say if cam pose dot y is less than 0. We want to set the dialog windows on bottom to false. So how do we get the dialog window? Do I ever actually do that? I do that somewhere. Let me just find the script that does it. And I'll just nab it. Message. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Dot on bottom equals false. False. Window equals this. Dialog window dot on bottom equals false. I guess I could just say dialog window dot on bottom equals cam pose dot y is less than 0. And then I don't need to even have a variable. I can just do this, and there we go. Alright, so the dialog window, as you can see, is on the bottom half of the screen. And then once we actually go down here and interact, it should be on the top half of the screen. There we go. That's it. Works. Very nice. Works really well. It's not perfect, but it works really well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I think I would rather have teleport the player from scene to scene so that I can kind of keep the same player state and just go from there. Actually, now that I think about it, somebody mentioned what do I think about the Godot 3? What do I think about Godot 3? I saw on the website. Let's get some chill up in here. Is that loud enough? Let's make it a little louder. That should be good, I think. Maybe a little wider. Okay. Yeah, something I saw was that they have Nintendo Switch support, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's great, because I really would love to make a game for the Switch. I picked up a Switch not too long ago. It's really good. Mario's good. ARMS is good. ARMS is hard, surprisingly. It's easy on the easy mode, but once you get to difficulty 4, it actually is Like, I could not beat 7. I got like halfway through and I could not get any further. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So it's actually pretty challenging. I have to get Zelda, I have to get a whole bunch of good games. But so far, it's really good. Alright, so anyway, now that I'm done advertising for Nintendo, yeah, I'm hyped. If I could possibly make a game for the Nintendo Switch, I don't know what I would make. I would love to make something that kind of uses motion controls in a kind of cool way. In a way that kind of, you know, makes sense and isn't boring or kind of shoehorned in. Okay, so Bryce Fight says you might want to adjust the depth rendering. Yeah, the player is currently not in a tile set. He needs to be in a tile set, and the pots too. So usually, I guess I'll put them in walls here, and then turn on Y sort. Y sort's on. Let's try that. That should resolve it. But one thing I wanted to do, whoops, yeah, that's better, is, what did I want to do? Yeah, that's better. That's way better. One thing I wanted to do, there's something I wanted to do. I can't remember now though. And it was something kind of important. It was kind of important. I think I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, that's right. So basically, currently, what the heck? Why is the... Alright, hold on. Music just like dipped out. Let's just cut that out. Set this in. Why is this not grabbing my key presses? Alright, hold on. Let me just... There we go. Alright, so... Joseph Catrambone says, teleport player to avoid losing state, you said. Thank you, you're correct. That's what I would like to do. So basically, currently, a player exists on each scene, in each scene, which makes sense because I don't, you know, if I want to test out this scene, I can just press F6 and the player's in this scene and I can, you know, move around and test out stuff. But if I want to test out, like, transitioning from this scene to that scene, what that entails is just straight up destroying the scene in its entirety and loading up the scene there, which is fine, except if I have something in the player. Currently, inventory is handled, is going to be handled by just adding nodes to an existing node in an inventory enabled, you know, node. So like a player can have an inventory, a chest can have an inventory, an NPC can have an inventory, whatever I want to have an inventory. I just need to give a node that says inventory, and then things can be stored in there and taken from there. But if the player takes an item here and moves into another scene, this player dies, essentially. He's completely erased, and this is the new player. So rather than transferring nodes from player to player between scenes, it makes more sense to simply transfer the whole player himself into other scenes and delete the player that exists in those target destination scenes. So we'll try that. We'll see if that works. So let's go ahead and see how this would happen. So this, in this example here, we're grabbing the, basically we're loading in the new scene. We're grabbing the new player, the new player, the player in the new scene, and then moving him to where, you know, we would kind of expect him to be. It would be probably better to simply, let's cut this out for now. NSPlayer.queueFree. So this would destroy the new player because we're gonna move our old player into that new position. So we'll try that real quick. And that's right. So now there's no player. There's the player in the old scene is gone, and the player and in the new scene is also gone. Now we want to say scene.addChild old scene.find node player dot get parent dot remove child. So I'm doing this kind of roundabout, but we'll kind of walk through this a little bit. So grabbing the old player, and then we want to remove, like, unparent the player. So the player, we get the player's parent, and then remove the player as a child, and then we want to add the player to the new scene. So he should now basically appear suddenly in the new scene. Okay, that works. Cool. Now the next thing we want to do is basically put the player on the same level as the old player. I think there was a thing for this. Hold on. There was a like, well, I guess we can just do it like this. Hold on. We can just say we don't actually have, for some reason some of my key presses are just being eaten. I don't know what's going on. What we can do at this point, we can say scene in as player dot get parent dot add child player. So now when we go to the new scene, wherever the player is, which in this case his parent is walls, he'll get added to, basically he'll be added in as, you know, the new player in a sense in this stack. So we can actually, let's see if we can actually see this happen. So here's the current layout of the current scene. This player is 1098. So if we move to the new scene, we should still have, oh, something happened. It just crashed. It just crashed. Something didn't like that at all. Not at all. That mess. It just completely was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Let me see. Was that just a one-off, or was that like? Oh, that's great. Oh man, I don't see. This is that's bad. Server disconnected. Why is it crashing? I can guess why this is happening. Actually, I actually have a pretty good idea of why this is happening. I have a pretty good idea of why this is happening, actually. Debugger error. This function can't be used during the in-out signal. Okay. So I think what's happening is the player's already owned by another thing here. Let me do a quick check here. Ovisier says, Solar, how should I learn how to structure my code? I'm at the point where I'm a pretty good programmer and can make most things happen. That's good. The issue is I'm not quite sure how to optimize code to maintain readability and cleanliness. I've noticed that I've gotten much better over the past year, and I'm reading game programming patterns right now. How do you pick up programming structures? Is it bad if I never use inheritance or interfaces in my game code? It's completely up to you. It's completely up to you. If it makes sense to you and it's fast to you and it runs well, it doesn't matter. Basically, I mean, you can like say, oh well, this is the way you should do things, but the only real audience your code is for is yourself, unless you're planning to like show people how to code. If you're like streaming, you mentioned you're gonna stream, so if you're streaming to like show people how to do better, or like, you know, coding conventions and what's a good idea, that's one thing. But if it's just like, oh, this is how I make my game, well, that's how you make your game. So if you want to like use GoTo and labels and not use a single function, do it, dude. Like there's like, you know, who's just, you know, a lot of good games were made on a lot more basic hardware than good GD script and Java and C# and inheritance and object-oriented programming and functional programming and, you know, all the stuff that we have today. So if you say, oh well, I don't use inheritance, I don't use interfaces, go ahead. Like, you know, if you find something that works for you, use it. So like there's definitely like those things, inheritance, interfaces, functional programming, all these things solve certain problems, and you can use those to solve those problems effectively, but you don't have to use them. I was thinking about a programming language actually, where basically I was like going through the entire thing in my head, like developing it, and I was like, the idea is basically, what if everything was like an array or like a dictionary or something, and like there's no such thing as like interfaces or classes or inheritance. It's just like pure like arrays and references to arrays. So like a dog can be a dog as long as it has the field that a dog should have, and the interface that defines what a dog is just, does it have these fields or have these functions, and even the functions themselves are just pointers. So I was like going through this entire thing, and I was basically just designing Lua. Like I didn't really think about it, but Lua is basically like almost exactly that. And I was kind of coming up with this based off of Go language because I liked it, but I didn't like some of the ideas behind it. Joseph Catron says, like JavaScript? Yeah, I think JavaScript is kind of similar too. I guess all the prototype-based languages, is that right? Are kind of similar in that, like, it's not so much a strict contract of this is what, in order for a dog to be a dog, it has to be an instance of a dog. Well, no, it just has to act like a dog and look like a dog. And if it does, then it's a dog, and it will be treated like a dog, and that's it. So it's like, it's an interesting approach. And I like Go because it's like, basically, something is considered an instance of an interface or implementing an interface if it has the functions necessary to implement that interface. But I didn't like that it was not an explicit thing. Like if you change an interface, if you go to a Go language IDE, which I had like Goland, and you write out like, oh, here's an interface that has these 3 functions, and you make, like, the fact that you make something, a struct, implement this interface is just adding those functions. So if you go back and change that interface, that interface to add another function, you have to go back to all of your other existing structs that implement that function and implement that interface and add those missing functions. Add that missing function. So it was like, I completely like the idea. I don't like that it's not an explicit thing that ties an interface to an implementation. I want something that says this implements this, and therefore it needs to have these things. I also don't like that. I mean, fundamentally, there's no reason why an interface cannot also be something that has fields. Like if I have an interface and I say, oh, it's a dog, why do I have to say it has to have a function that says, what do I have to say if it's a dog and it needs to have a function that returns the number of legs it has, rather than just saying it has a field that is named legs? Like, why do I have to have a function? A field is just as much an indication of the kind of instance, the kind of data something contains. Like, why is it that a function in Golang, an interface can only define functions that are implemented and cannot define fields that are implemented? If I want to have a field that is named legs that define the number of legs that a dog has, or a field that says 4 legs that defines the number of legs that a dog has, why can I not do that, but I can't have a function that is named 4 legs? Like, what's the difference? Just let me use a field. Like, I don't get that. So anyway, that's just, I was thinking about that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, don't worry about it. Ovisior that says, thanks for the advice, Solar. Good to hear from someone that's worked with something like BDX. Thanks. Or you're welcome. Joseph Catrombone says, prototypical plus duck-typed languages. I think that's what you're talking about. Or I think that's what I'm talking about, yeah. Okay, so I think what the issue I was having here is that the owner, is that what I'm... Okay, maybe not. I'm not sure why this is crashing then, because I'm not... Well, let me see what I'm doing here. Moving child. Oh, okay. This is probably... It might be this. It might be freeing the old player. I guess I can call this old player, actually. It might be freeing the old player before it actually puts the new player there. So let's go ahead and switch this around. We'll put the old player's queue free over here. That might be what the issue was. Let's try that. Boop. Okay, that worked. Let's try that again. Okay, this seems to be much more efficient. Yeah, I think that was the issue. Okay. Joseph Catrombone says, Kotlin does something neat like that. You might not like the language because it's on the JVM, but I think it's a lot of fun. It's the pieces of Python I like and the pieces of Java I like. Yeah. Yeah, I like Kotlin for the features, but I don't like the execution that much. I didn't like it that much. I just couldn't really get into it because it's like it seems a little awkward. It seems almost like Java, plain Java is not bad in terms of like execution. Like it kind of it's not that bad. Kotlin, it seems like they just kind of changed the syntax around in some cases just to be different. I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough experience to really like state my true opinion on it. It's just like I was trying to use it because I was like, oh man, it's so new and it's so cool, but then it's just like it's kind of weird. I can't quite like get into it. Couldn't quite get into it. But I would like to try it again, or just try Java again, especially with Godot. I feel like it would be a great language. Maybe C# is similar. I haven't used it much, like I said. Lucretia says, what are you doing right now? Like what feature? I'm trying to, as Joseph Catrombone is mentioning, move the player, like literally move the player node into the next scene to keep the same player around, because the player has an inventory, as you can see, which is this node here. So I can, anything that has an inventory, that any object can have inventory in this game, it just has to have a node called inventory, and then other things can go in there. That's it. That's the idea. So we'll test this out. This player 1098 should stick around when we go to the next scene. This is player 2. I'm guessing it did that because there was an existing player in this scene at one point for one frame or whatever. It added the new player and then did that. This is still 1090. Oh, 1098. This might not have worked. Let's see. Was that 1092 or 1098? 1098. Okay. 1098. Okay, this might be working. Let's try. Let's confirm. I think I have it so that you can talk to something and get an item. So this is an example. So this is the player. This is node layout. We're finished talking, and there's the inventory there. He's got a potion now, which is just a node called potion. It doesn't have any actual features or abilities. But now if we walk through into the next scene, yeah, he's still got the potion. It's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Perfect, cool. Very nice. Absolutely perfect. So now we're good to go. I mean, that's really good. What this means is, well, it means exactly what it looks like. We can move the player from one scene to another and keep his inventory and keep his state. That's really nice. And how I'm doing it is basically this little snippet here. We load in. Let me do this because I don't want that to happen yet. Okay, so we load up the old scene. I'm sorry. We get the old scene, which is the current scene, and then we get this target scene we're moving to. We add the target scene to the scene tree. We grab the old player, or basically the player that's in the new scene. He doesn't really need to be there because we're moving the current player to the new scene because we want to keep him around. You know, we're going from one scene to another. We want to keep him around, but we want the old, a player in each scene so that we can test each scene individually. So we say, okay, grab the old player, and then we get the new player or the current player, and we remove the current player from the current scene, and then we add the current scene's player to the next scene using the same parent as the now going to be deleted player. And then we delete the player, and then we delete the old scene. This is a little confusing because old player is talking about the player in the new scene, and old scene is talking about the old scene. Lucretia says, C# is 100% better than Java. It has everything Java has and more, including semi-coroutines, which is super useful for loading stuff gradually. The problem with C# is its dependency on mono. Avisier says, honestly, I like C# a lot more than Java. That's probably because I spent almost all of my time exclusively using C# though. Having things like properties and link is nice. Lucretia says C# is also better maintained and is technically native too, which means loading times are quick. Unlike the Java VM, it takes like 3 seconds to start a 30 megabyte game, lol. Properties and link are super useful, yeah, haha. Yeah, I don't know much about C#, so I guess that kind of answers the, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's exactly what I want, just Java, but better. I mean, I didn't really have too many problems with Java as it stood. But I mean, anything can be improved upon, so Maybe C# is improvements. Maybe it's just a transference of issues from one side to the other side. You know, it kind of remains to be seen, but I know a lot of engines and things are using it. Maybe we'll even see some Rust or D or I don't even know, R or Ruby or Crystal. Oh man, Crystal Lang. I would love to use Crystal. Crystal Lang is like Python but fast and like clean, a little more clean, I think. I wonder how they're doing with that. I gotta check that out. Because they were trying to get like Crystal Lang like working on Windows, and that it's been up and coming for a while. I'm wondering, yeah, still no progress on that front yet, but I'm eagerly waiting for that. If I was able to use Crystal Lang here in Godot, that would probably be like my go-to. Either that or maybe something like one of those things, like, man, I don't know. It'd have to be something like, I'm not sure. Maybe like one of those languages like D. I'm not sure about Rust. Safety seems like it's really kind of a pain. I'm not sure. Like D. Oh, Nim Lang, or I guess yeah, Nim. Like one of those. Nim. It might be Nim. Nim might be the one I would check out. Like between Nim, Crystal, Red. Red is kind of weird. Maybe like it's one of those languages. Like I would like to try one of those in Godot. I'd like to see somebody make a core, I guess, a language core for that. Let's see. Joseph Catrombone says, I like C# over GDScript. Lucretia says, I don't know. I found dynamic programming languages to be way more useful for games. Joseph says, really, you're into Crystal? That's not disbelief, just surprise. Yeah, I mean, I found it one day, and it's like, man, it seems really clean. It's like I love the idea that you can loop through things, loop through objects. Like it seems like a pretty cool, kind of simple approach. Yeah, it seems like a really cool like language, but at the same time, I need it to be obviously running on Windows too, and I need it to. Well, I need to be running on Windows too if I'm going to do anything with it. Again, just make a game in it for just Linux and Mac. Like, you know, I need to target Windows, and I would love if it's going to work with Godot, somebody would have to make that too. So there's a lot of work to get done if that ever happens, but I'd like to try it. It seems cool. It seems like Ruby, basically. It seems like kind of some of the advantages of Ruby, but fast. That's a pretty good language. Okay, so where we're leaving off here is basically there's two things. I can't restart the game anymore because once you actually go from scene to scene, the like definition of what defines a scene is lost. So like R just doesn't work anymore. And then the second thing is the player is no longer moving to the exit that he's supposed to be moving to. So let's fix both of those. First thing, so we want to move the player. That should be it. I'll just move that a little bit. We don't need this. Whoops, this anymore. We don't need that. Let's kind of clean some stuff up a little bit. Let's see. That should nope. Oh, whoops. I don't use. Whoa, what in the world? I don't use caps. What am I doing? I don't capitalize my variables. My variables. Better, but crash is not as good. Let's see. Attempt to call function get parent on base null instance in a null instance. Get parent. So player doesn't exist? Is that what it was trying to say? Why wouldn't player exist? Huh. Okay, let's try this out real quick. Let me see what. Okay, so it couldn't find player. So let's find old scene first. Let me make sure I'm not like hitting the GUI or something. Game, okay. Node. Okay, that's right. Oh, is it because it's like this? At player at 2? Really? Really? I'm just kind of surprised. Really? Find node player. So wait, isn't this recursive or wait a second? Oh, it's because okay, I think I know why. It's like regex. Let me find node. Let me just make a quick double check here. Find is in a case in but yeah, okay, it's string.match. It's probably reg at yeah expression. Yeah, okay. So I'm guessing like I need to do something like boom, boom, something like this. Although I kind of wish I didn't have to do this because, like, well, I guess I could rename the player. That probably would work too. Let me just. Nope. It didn't work. It didn't work. All right. Jastif Catrombone says capitalization can make a huge difference. For example, I like to eat cereal versus I like to eat capitalization. Yeah, capitalization can make a huge difference. Nightbot says, hello, I am Bot. I don't know who Nightbot is. I didn't put a Nightbot in my chat. Who are you, Nightbot? How did you get here? Who released you into the wild? Because it wasn't me, I don't think, unless something's up. Lucretia says, are you using flip H on the sprite to flip the player or the scale on the sprite? Flip H. I'm using flip H, homie. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't working. What's the issue here? Was it unable to find get seen or what was the issue? It found get seen, yeah, that wasn't the issue. Is it that it couldn't find the player? Even though it should have been able to find the player. Let's see. Couldn't find the player, that's weird. Close some of this stuff. I'm getting kind of tired of looking at it. Find node. Find a descendant of this owned true. That's yeah, okay. Recursive true, owned false. Let's go with that. So that actually probably is it. I probably don't need this. I just need it to be not owned by the node doing the search, or owned by the node doing the accessing. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't know. Owned true. Okay, so in case you don't know, what? Bad video output low. Since when? That's weird. Okay, let's see. Lucretia says, alright, gonna watch Seinfeld. See you later. Alright, see you, man. Obesir says, well, time for me to sleep. 12 a.m. Stream has been fun so far. Great. Good for you. Good, good to find some sleep. And I'm glad that you were able to stop by. Something that's interesting, I want to make sure people know. Find node has this argument owned equals true. You need to, they don't actually document what this is here for some reason, but I think what owned being true is basically find node will find a node that fulfills the mask down the recursive, you know, tree of parents, or I'm sorry, children of the calling node, but only if it's owned by that node. So like, yeah, if the owner of the node found isn't the calling node, like walls.find node player, then it won't work. I don't know why. Like if the player's owner isn't walls, it won't work. Why? I don't know. Like what is that? Why does that? Well, let's see. Let me just make sure because I might be incorrect here. Boop and boop. Okay, it was incorrect. That's not the reason why it didn't work. All right. Although it might have been that I need to do this. Hold on. I probably could also just rename the player on yeah, okay, that was it. Invalid set index position. with value of type vector2. Player? Alright, hold on, let me see something. Exit.get name. Joseph Catron says stream was down for a second. Oh, since when? I mean, well, I do this, but it should be working now. I don't think there's any issue, right? Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, exit.get name. Exit. Oops, what am I doing? Exit.get parent.get name. Let me see what's going on here, because something is not working correctly. What is exits looking at? Exit.get name. Oh, player. Okay, I see. So it's looking at player and it's looking and it's like, oh, you found the animation player, of course. Wait, what? Where's the Okay, so it just grabbed up something that has player and okay, because there's something else that has player. Alright, fine. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do then. What's going on? I'm not. This is weird. Am I strange? Okay, I think I'm doing something that's making my internet drop for a second. I think I'm like banging the table or something. Hold on. I'll have to just be a little lighter, a little bit of a lighter touch. So I think what's going on, the problem that I'm having is basically is trying to find the player, but there's multiple things with the name player. There's an animation player, and I can't just look for star player star because naturally it's gonna find things that have player in the name. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is just rename the player. I think can I set name? Or can I not get set name? Let me see. I know nodes have. Do nodes have names? Or name? Okay. Okay, so I can rename nodes. Okay. The name of the node. This name is unique among the siblings, other child nodes from the same parent. When set to an existing name, the node will be automatically renamed. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is we're going to get the old player and just rename it. Old player dot name equals old player. That's fine. And then we don't need to do this. Yeah, that should be good. So let me. Oh, whoops. So this should be pretty straightforward. Once we walk into this scene, the name of the. Nope. Did not like that. Let's see. Why is this an issue? Okay, let's try this real quick. Player.name. Let's try that real quick. So do we have player? Yeah, okay. Okay, we should be this seems to be working. It seems like we're good to go. And we still have the the inventory. Let's see if we get something in there. Should have I have a potion now, and then I might go in here. Still got a potion. Very nice. Got a potion. Got a potion. Cool. Very awesome. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. All right. Now the next thing we're gonna do. I'm not sure what we're gonna do actually. I've been streaming for an hour and a half. It feels like I've been streaming only for a couple of minutes. Let's go for a little bit more. Let's do maybe one more thing. What? I don't know. This is already working pretty well. Let's test out scrolling real quick. (32, 64) or 32, 16, 48. Alright, so this should automatically scroll. Can't tell if it's working or not. Let me actually do this right. Let's see, solid. Okay. Floor. I don't know what's going on. Is my internet like not working? It seems like my internet is just like dropping some frames. I don't know. All right, well. Whoops. Okay. So this should be relatively solid. I need that. All right. Okay, so let's see here. This should be. Let's test this out real quick. F6 should just drop this in here. Okay, it is working. Cool. Very cool. And then when we walk through here, we get teleported over here. Now this is incorrect. So I'm glad we tested this because it seems like, okay. I need this to happen every frame or on transport. So either I guess we could send a. This is a good opportunity to learn about messages. Let me see about how messages work. I thought, or is it, what's it called? Where you can send is it a tweet? No, what's it called? Where you like send a impulse or a message? A notification, okay. A notification, I think that's right. Or signal. How do I define my own signal? Add user signal, emit signal. Adds a user-defined signal. Arguments are optional but can be added as an array of dictionaries, each contain name and type. Not sure exactly what that means. User signal? So let's see, hold on. So wait, connect. Connects a signal to a method on a target object. Pass optional binds to the call. So I guess what this kind of boils down to, so a signal, okay, so I think if I understand, a signal is something that connects, a signal is something that connects a method to a string, I guess, right? So you say, oh, emit this signal. Hold on, wait. Emit signal. Emits the given signal. Okay, so yeah, I can just say, oh, emit a signal. And then anything can get that signal and go with it. Okay. Okay, so this is basically a message. Okay. Messaging. Okay, cool. So I can go over here to player and let me just expand this a little bit. Okay, so I should be able to go to node. and create a signal for myself, which is basically on scene change. Renamed, tree entered, tree exited, tree exiting. Or I guess I don't need to do that because this already exists. Tree entered, tree exited, tree exiting. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's just going in and out, in and out. Kind of just going up and down in quality and stuff. All right, yeah. So I think connect, call deferred. But you can already call. Well, okay, right, okay. So I can add a signal, and then emit that signal, and then connect that signal to. All right, let me check something real quick. Emit signal set get memory list. Wait, objects can also receive notifications. Notify the object internally using an ID. So that's basically like a signal, right? What's the difference between a notification and a signal? This is interesting. Okay, so I can use notifications or signals, or use call with just the name of the method that it should have. This is a little bit of overkill if they all do basically the same thing. I guess, okay, because signals with emit signal, you can basically just like say blah, and everything in every node will, I guess, get the signal. So it doesn't really, it's not, that's a little different. I don't know if is it possible to like call to like send a signal to a specific node. It doesn't seem like it. Whiskey Dog says, Solar Loon, my dude, what's up? How's it going? Let's see. Okay, what I'll do, I'll use signals, because that way multiple things can respond to them. Okay, so I can't actually make a new signal here, is that right? Okay, it looks like I can't actually make a new signal here. I can only, unless I'm misunderstanding it. That's what it seems like. It seems like I can't make a new signal here, which is a little bit of a shame. Okay, well, what I'll do then is I'll approach this from the other, the usual approach, I guess you could say. So make, let me see, signal, add user signal, room change. Okay. And then connect, room change, this, or I guess self, and then room change. Okay, wait a second, let me make a function here. Room change. New room. No, that's okay. I'll just say new room change for now. Self, and then room change. Okay, I think that's right. Let's see. And then print room change. What in the world? I'm not. Why did it? What? Okay. That was weird. Okay, I'm just like, I don't know why my video output is like dropping suddenly and drastically, but it definitely is. Or did. I wasn't even doing anything. It just conked out. All right, well anyway, fine. This will be the last thing we're gonna do. Okay, so we have a user signal, room change, and we're connecting that signal, room change, to this function, underscore room change, and we're just gonna say, oh, a room changed, and that's it. But I guess before that we need to say if has user signal, room change, if not has user signal, then add the user signal and connect it. Cool. Now, adds a user-defined signal. I don't quite get this. Does it mean adds a user-defined signal? Oh, okay, here. Okay, it adds basically a user-defined signal to this node. Okay, I don't quite get this. The significant. Well, okay, fine. I don't quite get the significance of having a user-defined signal. Like, why not just have connect a string to a function, and then I don't get it. Okay, I don't like what is a user. Well, okay, I guess because it's like, okay, you might want to like you wouldn't want to define multiple user signals, I guess. Like this, you might want to only do it once. Okay, fine. So we say let's define the user signal. I guess this would only happen once anyway, but we're just being sure. All right, now when the scene changes, we want to go ahead and just do this. Emit signal room change. Let's try that and see if it works. So when the room changes, we should get a signal and print out a message. Didn't work. Cannot emit non-existing signal room change. I did define it. I'm guessing they mean that I have to define it on the room change. On the scene change here. Let's see. Or do they mean I have to call that? It didn't work. So I'm guessing what this means is I have to do it like this. Player.emit signal room change. Okay, it worked. So I don't get it. I don't get why they have notifications, signals, and the ability to do this. .call room change. Like that, I'm pretty sure this will also work. Yep. And my internet dropped again. Okay, that seems to be better. Yes. Okay, sorry about that. Internet is just like crippling right now. It's just like it's just, that's about it. It's dying. So I'm going to basically finish up and then that'll be it. But yeah, I don't quite get the significance of having signals. Notifications. Well, notifications are just like you can just pass a single ID. Oh, propagate call. Okay, so it goes down the entire thing. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't quite get the whole, like, why notifications, calls, and signals. Like signals, I guess I kind of get because you can connect them. Like some of them are pre-made. So if it's pre-made, I guess I get it, right? Because it's like it's a pre-made signal. Like, oh, you clicked on this thing, or like this. You know, when a node is renamed, then you can call a function. When a node enters a certain tree. When the mouse enters a zone. Okay, like I get those. But why can you define your own signals? I don't get that. Like, why would you need to define your own signals when you can just call directly the function? Especially if you have to have a reference to the object you're calling the function on. Then why do I have to? What's the difference between player.emit signal and player.call the function that's linked to the signal? I don't get it. Yeah, maybe there's something I'm missing. But anyway, this works. So yeah, now we know. Oh, the player just changed scenes. I don't remember why we wanted to know that. I don't remember what the importance of that was. Oh yeah, that's right. Because we want to change the. We want to do this. We want to change the camera's limits depending on which scene is the player's in. So when the player's room changes, then it goes ahead and updates the camera limits. We'll do this as well. Let's just call room change right now. And yep. Bink. So now these are the limits should have been updated. Why did they not be updated? What the heck, Rooney? Print room change again. Am I tripping? Okay. It's happening multiple times. Okay, that's not good. Why is it happening multiple times? Ready? Wait. Print ready real quick. How many times is ready being called? Once? Oh. Once. Okay, that's, yeah. Alright, that makes sense. So it actually shouldn't call this. Oh shoot. Let's see. We only want to call. Yeah, that's not good. We only want to call. Well, okay, we don't really need a signal. There's just no point in using signals. I can just use call. That's fine. We just don't need signals. So we have a room change function. I'll just document it. Gets called on scene change. And we'll call it scene change instead of room change. Alright, that should be good. Now, obviously. Yeah, we want to call it on the new player. But we don't, like, we want to call it when the scene, first starts. We want to call scene change when the scene first starts. How do we do that? We could check and ready. If maybe I should do it like an auto load. Lucretia says that was a good episode of Seinfeld. What were you working on now? Right now I'm trying to get the map limits to work. Basically I want to limit the camera scrolling to specifically the zone defined by the background, which is this square, and that square is different for each room. It was working okay. Well, it was kind of buggy. It was basically it wasn't working actually before, and now I'm trying to fix it, and I think I actually am almost there. I just need to call it initially when the game first starts, because that's when the scene is loaded, and then from there I can go. So I'm not sure exactly how to do this. I guess I get auto load, like some sort of kind of system controller node that just like calls things when necessary. I guess we'll do that. Syscon. Let's see. System. Yeah, actually let's just rename this to system. Let's delete this. No, wait. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, let's delete this. Yes. Let's rename this from GUI to system. Joseph Catron Bone says, I actually call directly in my game too. I don't have a compelling use case for signals. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, if you have the ability to call functions arbitrarily using strings, then that's like 100% of the battle. Like, that's basically it. I mean, if you have to have the, I could see a use case for signals if you didn't have to directly access the object to call it. Like, if you could just say like emit signal, you know, scene change, and that would go through to every single node in the scene tree, going from the top down. Then it's like, okay, well, you know, you don't have to go for blah 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 for each node, blah 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 blah. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe. But since you know, signals just tie functions to these things called signals, and you have to call player.emit signal anyway, it just, what's the point? Joseph Catronbone says, can you hack the call when the scene first starts by just plopping the player on a door, which runs to a new scene as soon as it loads, like player spawns on a door? I could. That's not a bad idea. Like, but at the same time, I want to do this non-hackily. So let me go ahead and like actually do this correctly. Let's just do something real quick. Project settings, this is incorrect. Why can't I edit this? Guys, please, why? Why can't I edit a path? Come on. Why do I have to do this? It's not that big of a deal, but it's just like, why? Like, come on. It's not, is it that hard? Maybe it's really difficult, I don't know. Fine. Alright, GUI, cool. Let's go ahead and add, can't do it. Alright, new scene. Save. Can't be done without tree root. Fine. Node. This is gonna be the system controller. I'll just call system. Save. System. Resources. System. Save. All right, and then we can save this. Cool. Project settings. System. Oh wait, I can't do that. System, yes, add, yes, singleton, yes, that's fine, we'll do it like that. Close. Okay, so now the system is going to call or run this script, new script. Yeah, that's fine, I think. And we're just going to call player.scene change, I guess. So get node root dot get child to. Oh snap, I forgot. I never banked on the that's true. Oh no. I never banked on shoot. The game scene's gonna be the third in the list now. How do I want to do this? I could like, well, I mean, I guess I could just make the GUI scene the system scene. Nah, that's okay. I'll just rewrite it to be correct. I'll just rewrite it to be correct. Instead of getting the child directly, I'll say find node. Or I guess I'll just do it, I guess. Yeah. I'll just go like that. Child. Yeah, instead of get node. Okay, that might be it. Let's go ahead and go back here. So every node that starts has to be called game, which is not a huge deal. We're just gonna fix it slowly and surely. Find node on base null. Okay, so it didn't like 23. It didn't like old scene. Old scene. It couldn't find game. Okay. Okay, so it wasn't able to find old scene. Let me just do a quick check real quick here. Not get children. Okay. Lucretia says, why are you auto-loading scenes? You mean like why am I auto-loading scenes? So that I don't have to load them by hand. I can just load them here. And it loads them once at the beginning of the game. So I don't have to like check to see if they're already in the scene, like already in the game or anything. I can just put them here and they'll auto-load. I'm not sure what singleton does. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, that should be functionally the same as just creating a ready script, a script that has ready and that just adds the scenes if they don't already exist. Okay, that doesn't seem out of the ordinary. I'm not sure what's the GUI, the system scene, and then this should be the game scene. I'm not sure why it's. Oh. Oh no. All right, so we're just running into this again. We're adding game, this scene game, and this also is named game. Hooray! So auto renaming is coming back to bite us in the butt, in the patootie. So how we're gonna solve this? We could add a number to it, or we could have just look for game like this. Or no, wait, does that work? Does it have? Okay, so it doesn't say anything about like matches or anything, string matching. So this is an actual path. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. So I guess I could use find node. Get tree, yeah. Rename to BAME. Joseph says rename to BAME. Alright, instead of game. We'll just do find node game. Well, we don't really need it to be recursive, and we don't need it to be owned. Let's try that. So now we just can't have anything named. Well, no, this actually will work because it's not going to be recursive. So it's only going to check the system, the GUI, and the game node, which is fine. That's fine. Okay, this is working. Now we just need to call root game. Well, first we say var game equals get node root game. Say if game is not equal to null, then game dot get node or find node player false or true false rather dot call scene change. Oh, there we go. It worked. Never mind. Let's see. Why is it not working? What's going on? Print scene change. Why is the scene change? Okay, that is happening when the game starts. And here we go. We're in the next. Okay, maybe we need to do it a frame later. Alright, what we're gonna do, we need this to be late. We need this to be a frame late. So how do we actually do this? One way because the player's gonna be calling it, so Joseph says, "Yay, aw." This is not the first time that he says, "Yay, aw," as you can tell from the stream. Troll Workout says, "Make Godot great again, Kappa 123 or 123." Wait, it's already great. Yeah, it is already pretty great. It's already pretty good. All right, I need this to be a frame late because what I think is happening is it's switching the scene from here, or we'll go back from this scene. Well, it's going from this scene, for example, to this scene, and it's calling scene change before it gets to the next scene. So it's looking at this background scene and saying, okay, well, here is the range of the background. No, we're looking for this one. So that actually makes sense because, wait, scene change. Yeah, that actually makes sense because what I think, I didn't delete anything, did I? No. That actually makes sense because queue free isn't an instant free. Queue free just says like free it when you can, I think, as opposed to like get rid of it. Queues a node for deletion at the end of the current frame. When deleted, all of its children nodes will be deleted as well. This method ensures it's safe to delete the node, contrary to object.free. Okay, what I'll do is we'll just have to do it like this. Old scene. We'll just have to do this. Old scene dot name equals old scene dot name equals game. I'm kind of, I don't really want to keep doing this, but I don't really have an option because I'm relying on. Well, is there a better way to do this? Is there some way to force it to be freed and then go from there? Or wait for it to be freed or something? Can I, maybe I can just call free? I mean, like, could it be that bad? Is it gonna crash or anything? Yes. It definitely didn't like that. Although, maybe it was this. Let's see. Maybe it's setting the names. No. Okay. So it just really didn't like freeing it suddenly and forcefully. Alright, well. Alright, well, game is staying the same. That's fine. Alright, there we go. So yeah, this is like, I'm kind of doing like heavier stuff. That's probably why I have to do kind of more work than I should. Because I'm doing like, I'm doing stuff with keeping like the GUI in there, and like I could just like, let me see, like maybe I could do this a little differently. Like I could probably delete the entire scene every time you change scenes, and then like re-add the GUI, but that's not good. You want it to kind of stick around. You want it to stick around and be there. You have to see. It's working, but it's not as like simple and clean as I really would like. I would like to not have to change the names of things. Can I just like, let's try something real quick. Like, does this work or no? No. Yeah. I think it should probably be like reversed. Currently, it's like if you, like, I'll actually pull it up. But if you set the name of a node, when it's set to an existing name, the node will be automatically renamed. I feel like it should be the other way. When set to an existing name, the other node will be renamed. So like if you have player and player, you know, 1,000,000, you rename player 1,000,000 to player, the old player should be renamed. Because you explicitly set the name. You're saying, I want this to be named this. like under no circumstances should it be named something else. Like I shouldn't have to do this in order to have the name be unique. It should say, oh, you're trying to set player's name, then get the other player and change his name. Like, you know, of course, like I shouldn't have to manually set this. It should basically just know ahead of time. Oh, you're setting the name of something to game. Okay, well let me change the old game to something else. I mean, this is just a little more awkward. It could just be this. And even then, yeah, I mean, it could just be a little better. A little better. It's not too bad, but that's a little room for improvement. Maybe I'll suggest that. But hey, we managed to get quite a bit done. This is not bad at all. So now we got message boxes properly appearing where they should. Very nice. We got exits working as they should. Very nice. We got camera scrolling working as it should. Sweet. Yeah, it's all working really well. And we have inventory working as it should. And yeah. Yeah. So this is really working well actually. I'm pretty satisfied with this so far. And it's really light and clean and runs really well. Yeah. Seems to run really well anyway. So yeah, this is making some solid, really nice progress. I'm happy with this so far. It's been real. It's been really nice. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. It's been a couple hours, so I'm going to sign off. Yeah. It's been fun. It's always fun to stream, always fun to make stuff. Always nice to get into like a nice little groove and make considerable progress. And yeah, we'll see in a couple of months maybe where this is. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLoon. It's been real as usual. And if you want to support me or follow me on Twitter or whatever, you can find my social media links in the in my channel, and you can find like Patreon, Itch, Steam, all that stuff, Bandcamp, in the description of this video /stream. All right, well, thank you very much for watching, and it's been fun. See ya.